douchebag McGee, Sir Ian Whiffin.
Ian testified about cell data and some other things.
Ian Whiffin has done an interview with somebody else at Cellebrite.
His horrible, annoying, bimbo blonde propaganda friend there.
Now, the company that hired him, Cellebrite, they put out a video
on their own channel. They've got a YouTube channel, apparently. And I think we might glean some information
about what it was like to be an expert witness in the Karen Reed case with all the craziness that happened in the background.
About how he got involved in the case.
We are going to break down Ian Whiffin's interview.
This, again, falls into the category of you just can't make this up.
I had no idea Cellebrite had a YouTube channel either before this.
It was so horrendous that I want to share it with you guys.
And this just came out 2 days ago. It's got 0 comments.
There are no comments. Nobody cares. Nobody's interested. They got like a few hundred views and at the time of this recording, and it's bad.
And it's got, when I first found it, or when somebody first sent it to me 2 days ago, it had like 300 views.
This video had less views than I normally make on my videos, which is around 500.
Well, on the superficial front, because that's of course where I shine, this production is so, I looked at it, well, that's not a bad high school project.
This is, as far as I can see it, the official Cellebrite YouTube channel.
And it's wild that Cellebrite is a technology company and that their technology in producing this YouTube video is so terrible.
Okay, so we just talk about the production here.
I mean, it's just not good.
I mean, this is, you want to prove that like we are a legit company.
You have horrible green screen.
And so what are we going to use? Well, we'll just do this kind of white background here, this cheap white background with like a bad green screen.
Their names are not easy to read.
It's with like a really small name here for some reason. We can't make that any bigger.
This is a company that sells digital solutions to the popo.
And like, what's with all the white space, just unnecessary white space? I think I don't even know. This is just such a visually bootleg presentation.
Which means they should have 1 or 2 people working for them who knows a little bit about graphic.
I am not sure what they're doing, but I can tell you folks, the title of the video is Examining the Karen Reed Trial with Ian Whiffin, which, by the way, if I want to know how people feel about this trial, the last place I'm going to go is examining and questioning a biased prosecution witness.
Let's go over this.
Hello, everyone.
Innovation for a safer world. That is their slogan.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Innovation for a safer world, folks.
I'm Heather Barnhart, and I'm here with Ian Whiffin, the infamous genius.
Okay, stop. First of all, infamous, according to whom? Where's the Gallup poll? Where are you getting this information? 2, genius, lady, please. Come on. If you're going to build him up, at least make us believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. What the hell?
You may not want to start off an in-house video talking about his pure genius. And I'm not saying he's not a genius. I just don't know that you need to start off with so much praise.
Kind of funny that she starts out calling him infamous, right? I thought that was kind of funny. And a genius, by the way.
The goal of the video is to inform the audience and not to lavish Mr. Whiffin with praise. I don't think that's helpful to their position at all.
Yes, it's Ian Whiffin. So IANWHIFFIN.
And there's our genius, Ian Whiffin. He works for the company Cellebrite.
The name Cellebrite comes up in almost every trial that I've ever covered.
What they do is analyze data from cell phones, mainly because Apple doesn't allow anyone to actually do it. So the companies make up software that analyzes it.
And that is the software used to search what someone Google searched and what their phone data says and all the forensics that come with phone data, digital data, and evidence that has helped convict a lot of people.
This case is like a super onion with so many layers. The more you peel back, you're like, what is actually happening? It was a media circus, extremely high profile,
with a sea of
And
supporters in pink,
our very own
erupting in
Ian
cheers
Whiffin
at word of the
was kind of the ringmaster at times of that circus.
He was the ringmaster of the circus? I'm sorry, what? Ian Whiffin was the ringmaster of the Karen Reed circus?
Although I think the categorization of it being somewhat circusy is okay, at no point would I have thought of any of the people that were in that trial that he was the ringleader or ringmaster.
The ringleader, like he's definitely not the ringleader of either side of this circus. If anything, he's like one of the acts at the circus, I guess, trapeze artist or something. I don't know.
He was a clown, though. He was definitely one of the. He was a clown.
No, he was a laughing stock when he was on the stand. No one really understood what he said, but everyone understood that he had to go back home and change his product because his product showed a result he didn't like.
Also very weird to say. So like he was like the leader, the puppet master of all this. Like, come on.
For those of you that don't know Ian, he's not just the brilliant mind of forensics. He is also our decoding manager here at Cellebrite.
Brilliant mind. These two dopes don't even know how to use a green screen.
He's a sales rep. He's a fancy sales rep. He's an interpreter between the nerds and the customers. And now he's such a brilliant guy. And this woman looks like Twisted Tragedies when she gets a $2 super chat.
All right, Ian, you ready for some questions?
I am. Go for it.
And then we'll have some fun at the end too. All right, why were you brought into this case?
Let me answer that question for you, Ian. Because the government could not find any good, credible, worthy, trustworthy witnesses, so they went with you.
So I initially got involved in this case after a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite asking for clarification.
I'm sorry, what? I first got involved in this case when a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite about the 227 search.
Okay. Did you guys know he got contacted by a true crime podcaster? You guys probably did already. I didn't know that. Do you know which true crime podcaster reached out to Cellebrite? I did not know that.
That's what happened? Who's the true crime podcaster that they are referring to?
Because of some things that he'd seen in other people's blogs, some things that had been tweeted related to an artifact that Physical Analyzer had passed.
So anybody know who that is?
That is so interesting. A true crime podcaster called Cellebrite asking about the 227 search. And what? He was the customer service rep that answered the phone and inserted himself. He parachuted into this case.
Don't say it's Phelps, because Phelps didn't come around until basically during the second trials when Phelps came around, when they first started interviewing me. So it can't be him.
It's a he. We know that. It's a he. Other people's blogs. Okay. So he, whoever the true crime podcaster was reading Turtle Boy's blogs, right? Sounds like process of elimination.
So who was the podcast? Was it Plevin? Was it actually Do not even tell me it was Plevin. Do not even tell me it was Plevin. Tell me it can't be fucking Plevin. I hope not. I really fucking hope not. That would be disturbing.
I found that to be very interesting. And this goes to show that this is really something that happens in these high profile cases. We knew it happened with our favorite dog bite expert, Dr. Russell.
Remember how much noise Brennan made because of the Dr. Russell who saw it in a newspaper and got involved?
We knew it happened with even potentially some of the lawyers that got involved in the case, some of the other witnesses that got involved in the case. We know a lot of the podcasters, true crime people had something to do with that on Karen Reed's side.
Now, apparently, a true crime podcaster reached out to this guy, and this is why he's on the case. And can I just ask, which true crime podcaster was it? The only one who seems to be dumb enough to is Nancy Grace.
I wasn't aware that that's how he got involved with working for the Commonwealth.
You both have to correct me. Maybe I got Dever syndrome here and I have a faulty memory, but I thought his testimony was that he learned of it from defense expert Green calling the help desk. And I thought that was his testimony.
Did you learn that a consumer had called about a question relative to a report produced by the software?
Yes, there was both the troopers who had requested information about this particular artifact and also a private forensics examiner, Richard Green.
And so that right away, if I was in-house counsel with Cellebrite, I'd been like, well, we probably should fix that part of our video before we send it out, because that was not your testimony, Mr. Whiffin.
Basically, police had obviously extracted a bunch of phones.
They don't use evidence bags. Come on, this is stock footage. What a joke. Great stock footage, because we know that the MSP can't be. They don't use evidence bags.
The time of John's death, done their own analysis, including the analysis of a witness's device, which was written off at the time as not containing anything relevant to the case. About a year later, defense experts took that same extraction and ran it through Physical Analyzer as well, and now found a timestamp which they thought was a smoking gun. The time.
And I don't know that if he is trying to make that sound nefarious, that now they claim it's a smoking gun. It was like, well, it kind of seemed like a smoking gun.
Well, it kind of was the smoking gun. It kind of is the smoking gun, because if Haas longed to die in cold, say it with me, was Googled at 2:27 a.m., that means that Jen McCabe knew John O'Keefe was out in the cold.
To any lay person, when it comes to this stuff, which would include lawyers like myself, if I saw that timestamp, that would feel like a smoking gun to me.
Which they thought was.
The timestamp itself was related to a Google search. The infamous Google search, Haas longed to die in the cold, which is an obvious misspelling of the term how long to die in the cold. I'll say that this search had actually been found initially by police using Physical Analyzer 752. But at that time, the timestamp attached to it was around 6:23, 6:24 a.m. after.
Okay, so the police originally downloaded as 6:23, 6:24.
That's completely untrue. Listen to what he just said. This is false. Listen to what he just says. Who can tell me what's false about this? What he just said.
I'll say that this search had actually been found initially by police.
This search was initially found by police. What search?
Using Physical Analyzer 752. But at that time, the timestamp attached to it was around 6:23, 6:24 a.m.
So at the time, police found, when police first went through Jennifer McCabe's phone, they found the search at 6:23, 6:24. What's wrong with that statement? Yeah, they didn't find it. That's the correct answer, Mary. The police didn't find anything. Not only did the police not find a 227 search, they didn't find a 623 search or a 624 search. They found no searches. None. They handed in her phone and they're like, yep, nothing suspicious about that. Guarino said he didn't find anything. There was no Google searches on there at all. Nothing. So if Alan Jackson and David Yannetti and company had found the 624 search or 623, 624 search for how long to die in cold right off the bat, what do you think they would have done? Do you think they would have been like, oh, okay, well, that's not suspicious at all?
Just so you know, that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it a potential smoking gun. This is the type of information defense attorneys are like, whoa.
Because I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, the 227 search is the smoking gun for sure. But the 624 search is also fucking suspicious. Also that's very suspicious too. If I were them, I'd be like, wait a minute, what?
Was it at 227 or was it at 623? We know what a big deal about it is. We know how big of a deal it is.
While she was outside her sister's house and before entering the house, she Googled Haas long to die in cold. Why the fuck would she do that? That would be my first question.
This is exactly what defense lawyers do in cases, good defense lawyers that dig in.
I'd be like, wait, what? They're acting like the 624 search isn't suspicious either. But the 624 search, as the kids say, is sus. Like, what is up with that? Who would ever think to Google that outside the house? You got Karen Reed, one of the firefighters testified that Karen Reed asked him How long would it take for him to get hypothermia out there? Like, you would ask a paramedic, would you not? But not Jennifer McCabe. No, she asks Jeeves. She goes on her phone and Googles that shit.
However, when the expert for the defense took the same data, they used a newer version of Physical Analyzer. This newer version had additional support. Obviously, we always add support for new artifacts as time goes on. And this new artifact support for a database called Browser State gave a timestamp of 2:27 a.m.
Yeah.
For that same Google search. And that's important. 2:27 is a really important time because that would mean that this is around 3.5-4 hours before John's body was found.
Right.
Implying that somebody had some knowledge that he was outside dying in the cold before.
Bada bing, bada bang. If true that it happened at 2:27, Ian Whiffin is even explaining why that is so important and why a lawyer may want to look into that. That timeline just isn't adding up.
In my experience, Cellebrite has never done good with time.
Or anybody should have known that that was the case. So this Google search became a pivotal piece of evidence for the defense to try to prove that someone other than Karen was responsible for John's death.
Right.
So a few things. I have many comments on this one. Cellebrite updated Physical Analyzer based upon your research and what you learned in that
First of all, it's called Cellebrite. She can't even pronounce the name of her own company, but go ahead.
case so that people who don't understand how to validate don't have time to validate. And for better lack of other terms, press buttons to get answers. The answer will be correct in their face going forward.
It will
Yes,
be,
I think
it will be correct in their face going forward because they don't have time. She packed so much into that sentence.
Okay, so literally we learned this at the trial, but it's still insane. They updated their software based on the case.
They changed their software based upon what Ian Whiffin found in the Karen Reed case.
They didn't like the fact that Jennifer McCabe Googled this at 2:27. They didn't like that.
Because their fear was that law enforcement officers or whoever's using their software might be lazy and not have time to actually validate or interpret the results. And so we just took it away altogether.
So they updated their software to make sure that it didn't come up. That's insane. It's like getting rid of the bloody knife. It's like, yeah, we're just going to make it disappear digitally.
I've always thought Cellebrite was solid. Cellebrite has helped convict some really, really bad people.
Every single prisoner who is currently incarcerated and convicted based on Cellebrite data and timestamps therein must start banging on the jailhouse doors to get out.
The first time that I ever questioned Cellebrite's credibility was during the Karen Reed case.
But they literally create software that is specifically designed to make sure the 227 search doesn't come up.
He also, while he was on the stand, conceded that the 2:27 a.m. search does show up in the other software.
And by the way, their competitor, Axiom, it still comes up on theirs.
And in this case, once I started to look at the data and look at the evidence, I determined that the timestamp in the browser state database was related to the time that the tab, so the browser tab actually took focus, and not the time that the search occurred or the navigation event occurred.
When Hen McCabe arrived home from 34 Fairview on that morning, she opened up a web browser and made a search. She claims later on in that morning that web browser was still open, and that's when she searched for How Long to Die in the Cold. Therefore, the timestamp associated with it was incorrect initially by the competitor software that Karen Reed was using.
I understand what he's saying. You know, you open up whatever you were searching last to do your newest search, and it's showing the timestamp from when you opened up the original tab. To me, that renders pretty much all times of searches totally useless.
So there's no correlation between the two.
Wow. Wow. How many people are sitting in prison right now because they were convicted on Cellebrite data that was wrong?
There has to be a reason the tool is working the way it's working. If it's just spitting out completely incorrect information, that's really dangerous.
And that's essentially what my research was focusing on. that timestamp is not necessarily the time the page was visited. It could be before, it could be after.
Could be any
But
time.
it's irrelevant to the actual URL. So based.
Well, then Brian Walsh has a pretty good defense now, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Yeah. Hello, Brian Walsh. Larry Tifton, are you listening? It's all wrong. The timestamps are all wrong. It could have been searched anytime.
It could be before, it could be after, which means that this could also have been done, let's say, at 1 o'clock when the kids had left the house and John was in a snow pile outside.
So how do we know that we have it right now? Because, by the way, he's absolutely right. And he's going to talk about updates. Updates are important, but updates shouldn't change the answer from A to B, right?
We give you the web page that was visited, but we can't say that this is the time. So we just remove the time altogether.
So it's totally inaccurate. You can't say what time it was. So you just removed all the time altogether because it was always wrong. They're saying it was always wrong.
Why are you putting on a show where you tell the world the digital forensic tool is so inaccurate that we cannot tell you at what time? And if it could have been before or after that time, why couldn't it also be at that time?
So he doesn't say, we are saying it is not at 2:27, but we can't say for sure that it is 2:27. So we just remove the time altogether.
And those are really horrible statements for me to hear as somebody that coaches expert witness. These aren't things you really want to put out there in the ether to be preserved forever for your testimony, because you're just going to hear things like, well, is your understanding today different than it was when you did the extraction? And it's just going to be a horrible cross-examination experience from a good defense attorney if they're prepared.
If I'm cross-examining him, I might say, well, how about this time? How about this time? How about this time that Cellebrite prints out? Why do you put those times on there?
That is how bootleg and retarded their software is. The industry standard, by the way. That is how bootleg and retarded their stuff was until Sir Ian Whiffin came along and fixed that shit. He's like, oh, wow, this program is retarded and completely unreliable. And as it turns out, we have been using the wrong timestamps on every fucking Google search that doesn't use a new tab, a new Safari tab. Every single time you reuse an old tab, it gives you the wrong time. Every single time.
But this is an international recognized leading digital forensic company.
I think that's way better. And
she thinks it's way better. So I guess that's all that matters, right?
I think that's way better. I think that's way better because, it's not really important to pinpoint the time of things like crimes that are committed because, our software is mostly used for law enforcement to convict people. And, it's I think that's super important that now, that is so cool that we did that because, now it's just whatevs. It's whatevs. Maybe they're guilty, maybe they're not. Whatevs.
This is just insane. I can't believe this is real.
Better. And something I wanted to comment to some of the social media trolls who have zero digital forensics knowledge in their bodies, but think they know better.
Oh, this cunt. Oh, fuck you, bitch. Oh, good Lord.
Neither does the jury. They have zero digital forensic knowledge in their bodies. The point is, how does the jury understand what Ian Whiffin is saying? That's the question.
You just talk down to everybody in the world who does not have, Ian Whiffin does not have a degree from what I understand. Talk down to everybody in the world who doesn't do digital forensics and says, well, we know best. I think that part was just a disaster, but I'm just a lawyer.
Sweetheart, I say this with all due respect. Social media trolls is probably not the ones you want to disparage in your videos, because you have an expert, the best guy, our Ian Whiffin, who just said, I can't tell you if it happened at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So we just remove every timestamp except the ones that we left in there.
And if he's slinging BS, which I don't even know if he is, right? Because I don't have digital forensic knowledge in my body. but I can critically think. I have common sense, just like jurors, which is why lawyers need to ask the questions that if there are issues, a light bulb will go off. A red flag might pop up. If he's saying this, does this really make sense with that? He's saying probably, saying maybe. He's saying that tool that we all believed was true this entire time is now dead wrong? Can't jive with that.
But think they know better than our very own Ian Whiffin.
Oh, my Ian Whiffin.
Tools cannot be static in nature. A static tool should never be used in a forensic lab ever because technology is constantly changing. These apps change, browsers change, and we adapt to it. So we have to.
Heather, accept the fact that Karen got acquitted. Okay? You can't change that, no matter how hard you cry. All I'm going to say is cry harder, baby. Cry harder.
Just keep the research going and keep feeding our tools and making them better.
Wow, she's kissing his ass. People out there who don't know anything but think they know better than you. Well, you know what I know? You know what I know? I don't know a lot about forensics, but you know what I know? I know that you've opened your company up to like a huge number of lawsuits.
So what she just gave me is a question that I would like to ask basically every cell phone expert from here into perpetuity. I would like to ask them that question. Isn't it true? These websites, these browsers, these tools are always changing. So the tools are fluid. And sometimes Cellebrite will actually put out timestamps that you believe are completely wrong. And then you go and update the tool and you just erase those timestamps. Isn't that true, Mr. Whiffin?
I mean, think about the lawsuit. I'm just thinking about the people that want to get out of jail. Think about the people that were wrongfully incarcerated for however many years based on their data that they now are admitting was wrong, because now it is way better. It's way better that we just took the whole timestamp away. It's way better.
The validation and testing is something that he describes as his benchmark for fixing something. Yet the conclusion got worse. And the conclusion is we have no idea what time this thing occurred.
Hasn't that happened in the past? So you're sitting here relying on these timestamps, and maybe next month you'll create something that completely erases that timestamp, right? You don't know.
So we're just going to get rid of it because we can't understand why the tool shows it. That to me is a fundamental misunderstanding of the raw data.
It's fluid. It could change. It could be a new browser, a new cell phone, a new tool. Isn't that true, Mr. Whiffin?
Call your carrier, put them on notice that you're going to have, I don't know, 1,000 lawsuits filed against you by the end of the week. This is an admission. This is an admission that will be used in court against Cellebrite, that their software was wrong, that their timestamps were wrong. And so rather than admit that maybe Jen McCabe, Google lost long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m., they would rather open the floodgates to the slew of lawsuits that are sure to ensue from here.
Would you throw someone in prison for the rest of their life based on that evidence? I wouldn't say it's useless, but I would say the usefulness of it is significantly diminished.
Wow. I mean, like, who approved this video before they published it?
Don't they have a PR firm who can go in and tell them this is a really bad idea?
The fact that they're letting this woman speak on behalf of Cellebrite is blowing my mind right now. If I was in-house counsel for Cellebrite, my head has popped off and it's in Canada.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we have to update our tools constantly to account for bugs that may exist in our software, bugs that may exist in the applications that we're decoding, changes made by vendors, or simply because our understanding changes. And this is a perfect example of where the testing that was originally done.
Our understanding changes. Think of more cross-examination questions just off the top of my head as we're going here. It's like, well, isn't that convenient? Your understanding of it changed in a way to help your client and who you're here testifying for.
That was originally done focused on a particular use case, but this case brought to light additional use cases and different ways that that data can be populated, and the possibility that timestamp probably isn't accurate.
That's probably.
So what you're really saying, Ian, is that Cellebrite chose to make the tool better for users, and we weren't trying to be some part of the giant conspiracy of Karen Reed.
Okay.
I was waiting for it. The conspiracy. Oh, I love that term. When it comes to Karen Reed, an innocent woman, folks, just an absolute innocent woman. Oh, God. God.
Better for users or better for law enforcement? Or better for Jennifer McCabe? Sweetie, honey, sweetie baby. What?
So yeah. See, we're just trying to make the tools better for Jennifer McCabe. That's who you're trying to make your tools better for. Jennifer McCabe.
Yes, I think Jen McCabe is a liar.
Jennifer McCabe, you know you're guilty. Everybody knows you're guilty. You're not just some soccer mom. Stop it.
I know she's just a normal soccer mom out here doing soccer mom things with some peanut butter and bread frozen in the backseat. So, because that's the thing we do.
You were there to vindicate a cop killer. Yes, I am saying that I believe Jen McCabe to be a cop killer. That is my opinion. If she had the means to help him, she understood that he was out there. She Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. She had every intention of leaving him out there to die, which makes her, in my opinion, a fucking cop killer since that cop died.
I don't believe that Karen Reed ever even thought about hoes longing to die in the cold. I believe that was all Jen McCabe.
The giant conspiracy of Karen Reed. John O'Keefe was not hit by a car and a car did not hit John O'Keefe. And that has nothing to do with your shitty cell phone forensics program. Okay. It has to do with medicine and science and physics. John O'Keefe's injuries did not indicate in any way, shape, or form that he was hit by a car. Okay.
If we were to modify our software for any kind of nefarious purpose, it wouldn't take long before users realized and quite rightly took us to task for doing things wrong.
Oh, we're taking you to task now. Don't worry about it. This video's only been up for not even 48 hours. We're taking you to task now.
They tried to hide it as if there was something nefarious, which then makes it nefarious.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because I'm calling upon every prisoner out there. I know you can watch YouTube, but a lot of prisons give you guys tablets to watch YouTube. I hope you're watching. Call your lawyer if you're in there because of Cellebrite, because they just admitted their software was wrong. The timestamps were wrong, so they just took them out.
Well, Ian, I thank you for your time and what you do for this community and for our viewers. Next up, part 2. We're going to discuss testifying in court, best practices. We're also going to have some fun. We're going to read some of the mean tweets that were thrown Ian's way.
I love a good mean tweet.
Oh yeah, they do mean tweets, which is great because that's something we did at the Wilbur too, or Aiden played some mean tweets or put up some mean tweets on the big screen at the Wilbur Theater.
I mean, this is just such bullshit. Like we're gonna bring up like the lowest common denominator and people saying mean things, and we're gonna talk again. Is that where they're going with this? I haven't watched the second part yet. We're gonna watch together. Do they have open comments? They do. Retarded. That's nice and easy. There we go. Retarded. There's nothing else to say but that. How has no one else commented on? How am I the first person to comment on this?
Ian Whiffin, who was the laughingstock of the trial. Only the Blue Man Group was made more fun of than he was.
This was another level.
Let the evidence speak to you.
Karen saying that I was right is...
I just saw this tweet.
Karen saying I was right was...
I knew I was right with it.
So what do you think?
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry I have to do this. Cellebrite net worth. How much money is Cellebrite worth? They are worth $4.5 billion.
How to tank a multi-billion-dollar company.
$4.5 billion.
Ian was amazing in court.
He was amazing in court. He was so amazing in court.
Judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like
the judge was smiling at you, Ian, after you testified. Oh my God. The judge was smiling at you. Judge Canoni smiled at you, Ian.
I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But in addition to this, was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. I'm gonna focus on that. So Ian was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But in addition, Ian was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But
nope, hitting my head multiple times didn't change. I did hear what she just said.
Everyone wanted to give you a round of, yeah, you know why? Because you were really helpful to the defense. Point out to me, chat, how many good things he said for the defense. Like, it's very possible that he did go into the house because he walked 80 steps. It's very possible that my data is wrong.
in addition to this case taking its own life form, the Karen Reed supporters, all the noise at the courthouse, so much media chatter everywhere, you turned off your notifications. You were getting distracted by all of the noise. Before we even talk about how
I mean, you didn't expect that when you were paid to give false information and alter evidence in the framing of an innocent woman, Ian Whiffin? You didn't expect to get all this hate in the process? Come on, dude.
The tone about like the way she talks about the conspiracy theorists, you know, the people who follow logic, science, conspiracy theorists like Dr. La Posada and Nicholas Barros and Dr. Wolf, Dr. Rentschler and Dr. Russell, crazy conspiracy theorists like that. Yeah. Right. Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about prepping, Ian, prepping for this case, which we know you spent many, many hours doing.
Yeah, prepping
If
for the
you have
colonoscopy that you received on the stand. That's the kind of prep you needed to do.
not watched Ian testify.
Oh, yeah.
It's on YouTube. It's on Court TV YouTube. It's everywhere.
It's on Attorney Melanie Little's channel.
I've had many students that come up to me after I teach for SANS and they say, hey, we make all of our new people watch this. Hey, we make even our trained investigators watch this. Because the way Ian can explain extremely technical details to, I think even my dad would understand what you meant, is astounding. So
just a stray. Her dad is just catching a stray there. Even my dad would understand.
No, bro. No, that was a bunch of double talk and bullshit to confuse people and make them go, oh, well, I guess the expert says so. So, all right, well, the 2:27 a.m. search didn't happen. It time traveled. That's what happened. It time traveled. Makes perfect sense. I mean, people.
What? You tell your students to go watch this crap? No one who was in that courtroom understood what he was saying.
I'm going to give you a little applause here. This is also why my family, the kids, think Ian's a doctor, because he's so smart. So he's Dr. Whiffin, according to our household.
That's not nice. Don't say you have dumb kids while you're live on YouTube. I can say my daughter lives with an idiot, but I don't say my daughter is an idiot.
Did Heather land herself a doctor?
But I want to break you through.
Even Ian is like,
or walk
lady,
you.
please stop. Like, please stop. I have secondhand embarrassment for you.
Not just which artifacts exist, but which are the important ones. Which are the ones that you really need to spend additional time validating, verifying, testing, researching. If it's simply like an SMS message, for example, that exists on the device, it's pretty straightforward. We know why the SMS message was there. So it may be really good evidence, but it's also really easy to explain. And I think everybody in the world understands what an SMS message is.
Saying everyone in the world knows what an SMS message is like saying everyone in the world knows what a timestamp is, right?
This is Whiffin. He said the artifact is super easy to validate. Super easy to validate. Yet we still don't know what time it happened.
Sometimes with experts, things are not always as they seem, and you have to explain things and over-explain things. And what does it mean? And why is it an SMS? And we call it a text message. Are all text messages the same? What about if it's an iPhone or an Android?
And so it's like, well, if it's super easy to validate, Massachusetts State Police didn't validate it, right? It took some Green and this podcaster to point things out. And then ultimately, the validation or attempted validation done by Whiffin still doesn't define for us definitively the time of that Google search.
Right? So there's some background to it, just like a timestamp. It says this search happened at 2:27. Everybody knows what that means, right? You got to be careful about saying things like that as an expert. Never oversimplify.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Some of it, there is a common sense element to it. Sometimes they explain things in a way where I'm like, okay, I don't know. I mean, they're saying it, they're the expert. It's not like I can ratify everything every one of my experts say.
But if we're talking about something such as a location, for example, there are multiple reasons a location could be there. It could be really important information. So you really need to know why it's there.
Cue more stock footage. Cue more stock footage.
Oh, look at all this. Look at this.
Validating, verifying, testing, researching.
I mean, just look at this. Just the graphics. They're like, ooh, well, this guy must be important. He's got gloves on. He's going through a cell phone with gloves. And look at this one. Bro, like, look at this. Look at this.
Not just which artifacts exist, but which are the important
ones.
Well,
Look at all those wires and shit. They got to know what they're talking. I mean, this is legit. I've never seen so many wires. Look at them. And they're all plugged into shit. All of them. They're connected, dude. This is like real shit. This is serious shit. Look at all them wires. Like, why would they show this? Why would they show a fucking guy with gloves on?
Which are the ones that you really need to spend additional time
what is
validating, verifying, testing, researching. And that's why you kind of focus on it and do the additional validation and testing.
Fantastic. All right, now the third one, which I think personally is difficult. And this is where
it's so difficult. It's difficult.
For this second trial, I did about 150, 160 pages of reports. About half of that was the actual data, and about half of it was the testing, the research, the validation, everything that supported my opinion.
My favorite part of his data was the data that showed that John's cell phone could have been inside the house. Like, that was my favorite part of Ian Whiffin's data. But go ahead.
My position I made in my report. I also try to guess what are the questions that I'm going to be asked. Like, what is the real sticking point of this data?
Why does he have to guess? He should have been so well prepped by both Adam Lally for trial number 1 and Hank Brennan for trial number 2. He shouldn't have to be guessing what the questions are going to be.
The question going to be, and how can I answer it? And there's no possible way that you can cover all bases. There was a few questions caught me out in this trial.
And I think he shows some humility with that. There were some questions that caught me up in this trial. I actually think I don't have any beef with really what he's saying in this interview. I think a lot of it is very similar to what he said at trial.
Yeah, I think if you put yourself mentally in both sides of the courtroom, it helps you be a better witness overall.
Yeah. You know what else would be a better witness? Also, if you knew the freezing temperature in Fahrenheit, that probably would have made you a better witness too. Because once you didn't know that and you were testifying in the U.S., I don't know that anybody paid attention to anything else you had to say after that.
The jury didn't even consider his testimony, by the way. Every juror interview, including mine, that has been interviewed, not a single person said, oh yeah, and Mr. Whiffin's testimony has really contributed, or, you know, the guy from Cellebrite really helped. Nothing. The guy was invisible.
Put yourself in the position of the prosecution, of the defense, and of the jury. Like, do they understand, or are they likely to understand what I'm explaining here? How common is this kind of information? Depending on the kind of case, depends on how you approach the data.
What about the data that shows that the cell phone battery didn't go below 40 degrees despite being outside for 5.5 hours during a fucking blizzard? What's up with that? What about that data, Sir Ian Whiffin? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Do we need to get the meteorologist in here, that guy, to testify that it was snowing?
Tailoring how you conduct the investigation, how you write the report based on the kind of investigation it is, to make sure that you're focusing on the
like in the house or the garage. Well, that was important, Ian. Thank you for that.
Elements.
Exactly. And I also think that we aren't sitting at a desk all day, every day, being investigators and examiners anymore. We are brought in to do specific things and validation and make sense of data that sometimes then expands to everything. So focusing on.
But then when it doesn't make sense, we just dirty delete our software and we just decide to take all the timestamps because it was never accurate in the first place.
Yeah, so this particular case was kind of unique to me. Like, I've testified in many cases before. Several of those have been relatively high profile, but this was another level.
I agree.
Personally, I found I had to turn off Twitter. I didn't open Twitter or X for probably about 8 months.
I don't think he would have been permitted to, as a witness, to be watching any aspect of this and looking at the internet. I think Judge Bev's order was pretty clear.
Oh, poor baby.
I was very careful other social media platforms I was using to block out anything that was related to the case.
I don't think he should have been doing those things anyway. Right, Linda?
Right, absolutely right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
So when I heard this, I was like, well, you did what you were ordered to do, which is to not review social media.
It also didn't help when you had a team of people reminding you of something they saw. I just saw this tweet. It wasn't helpful to you. So we apologize, Ian.
Oh, so all of you idiots were telling him the things that you were seeing on Twitter, like this person said something really mean about you.
Wait a minute. So during the trial, he was communicating with people who were monitoring Twitter. What about the sequestration order? What about did I hear that right? That they were like texting him what people were saying on Twitter before he testified? That's crazy.
What stood out for me in one of his statements is that he said, I didn't want my opinion to be shifted by what I see online.
Right. That's what I wrote down.
If anybody's hiring an expert whose opinion can be shifted by what they read on the internet, you should stop paying them and hire somebody else. Right.
I'm asking again, who okayed this at Cellebrite?
If I was there with them, I would be like, why? I would have a company meeting. Why did we do this?
Whoever is running PR at Cellebrite needs to be fired.
This was whose idea was it? You're fired.
Somebody should be fired.
Yes,
Yeah. Yes.
I would. I'd fire somebody if I was the owner.
But now we're going to do, historically, this has been called mean tweets. And I remember seeing Peyton Manning reading something awful about himself where someone said he looked like a horse. It was terrible to watch these celebrities.
But also hilarious. Because again, don't take it personally, right? Like also hilarious. Mean tweets are hilarious. Jimmy Kimmel, right? Made them famous. They're hilarious.
Read all of this. Ian, you're a celebrity in our household. So I am going to read these mean tweets or mean X's, whatever we call it, and see what you think about this. And the names are blurred out. Okay.
Let's hear
If you
'em.
want, I could tell you, sometimes I can see how many views there were. And there's a cuss word. So I'm going to say beep.
First of all, some of you motherfuckers better make this. If I don't see like a bunch of turtle, I can't wait to see some of the names on this list. This is my first time seeing this. I feel like I would have been told if one of my tweets made it, but God, how did one of my tweets not make it?
Okay. Ian Whiffin didn't explain
shit.
He misinterpreted data to fit the prosecution's case.
Yes.
He screwed up in the first trial and changed his testimony and the at Cellebrite report for the second trial.
Yes, all true.
Interesting. I don't believe my position changed at all.
Really? Okay. Maybe your position didn't change, but the explanation and the reporting, which was the important part, certainly changed. So he says, I don't think my position changed, and then watch the rest of his explanation.
Don't believe my position changed at all regarding the Google search in trial 1 and trial 2. And
But did you manipulate your report?
Yes.
I presented the data from the device, and
Heather thinks it's funny.
You literally manipulated the software itself. You testified to that.
They admitted to cheating, says Candy. They're self-snitching.
That you updated physical analyzer based on your dissatisfaction with the results from the first time the defense expert extracted the data.
Trial 1, you didn't have a report that now no longer shows a time. Trial 2, you have a report. And your position is we continuously update these tools because things are ever changing and it's fluid. So we updated it to be the most accurate, and now it's the most accurate, and now it doesn't even show the timestamp. That's definitely different. Come on. We got to be honest with each other.
In my opinion, that is a new report. It contains new opinions, and therefore you have a changed report.
And that data, the new data from the new software that was specifically made so that this Google search no longer appeared at 2:27 a.m. It's just like, bro, are you kidding me? And they're like laughing about, these people are, these stupid people who think it's weird. They're so stupid. They don't even understand physical analyzer. Haha, peasants.
Illustrated my position. Obviously, we changed the tool to reflect the.
It's like one of those like We didn't, no, nothing different. My position was the same. Obviously, we changed the report. It's like, that's pretty important when it came to your presentation of the evidence.
The new understanding, but
The new understanding, we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding.
So you misrepresented your position. I mean, why change the tool? Why do you need to change the tool to reflect the new understanding? And why is there a new understanding? Is that what we're just calling lies now?
Maybe to use a term of this generation, you're gaslighting us. You are telling us something is not true, or something that is true that we know is untrue from our own observations. And so it's like
The new understanding that Hosslong to Dine Cold wasn't really searched at 227. It was really searched in the morning and spelled two different ways until the correct way that it was spelled at 227 was then put into the, browser.
New understandings? That's what we call lies now?
but it was unrelated to what the prosecution may have wanted.
Was it? Was it unrelated to remove the timestamp that they were really trying to get rid of? That wasn't a great answer.
Man, it makes it hard to believe anything you're saying when you're lying to me about the easy things, right?
Yeah, upgrading your tooling is different than being a tool and modifying a report.
The tool is Ian Whiffin.
But when the upgrade of your tool modifies the report and the output and modifies what you show the jury, that is a change. He said change. He said change.
Thank you for not only 79 views, Ian. So the world didn't really even see that person.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you now. More than 79 people have seen and heard the tweet.
Oh, only 79 views.
I almost wonder did they think it was just going to be people that are Cellebrite employees that watch this video? And yes, maybe their video only gets, I think I checked it this morning, it was like around 3,000 views.
Yeah.
But it's that old retweet. It's the review.
Right now, I have 326 people watching this live stream, which translates to 1,132 views.
Like it is going to be dissected.
It's the cross-examination, Michael, forevermore, right?
You mean kind of like this? Oh,
I have 19,300 subscribers. You have 15,700. So I am a bigger authority than you right now because I'm bigger than you, you know?
All right, you ready? I can't wait. I want to know what you guys think of the data. Tell Ian Whiffin to get lost and go do his job at Cellebrite.
You're hitching on the misspelling of your bullshit company?
Cellebrite. You said our name wrong.
I've been misspelling it this whole time. I put cell with an I instead of an E in between cell and bright. I've been doing that shit forever.
Well, that's because you have a really bad guy selling it. So people don't know your name.
Does that fucking mean that I haven't fucking followed them for I don't know how many trials?
So you did do your job.
I did.
You fixed the tool.
Well, if only we all had someone like Ian Whiffin to fix a problem we have in our case, right?
Oh my gosh. Okay, here's another one.
That's it?
Seriously,
No, that's
I'm
it?
curious to know how many taxpayer dollars we spent solely in an attempt to vindicate Jen McCabe.
Yes.
How much was paid to Ian Whiffin and Cellebrite to change their whole software to try to discredit the 227 Google search?
Why is she laughing at this? That is exactly what happened. The taxpayers spent significant amounts of money in order to exonerate Jennifer McCabe, and Cellebrite literally changed their software to try to discredit the search. All of that is accurate, all of it. And it's a great question that taxpayers should know about. But this woman at Cellebrite's like, stupid, so stupid. These dumb taxpayers.
Okay, I'm quite happy to answer this one. My flight and my hotel was paid for twice. Other than that, I received and Cellebrite received nothing.
That's crazy, isn't it? You think he was angry when he heard some of the reports come out about what Aperture was paid and what some other people that were involved in the case were paid?
I love it. Okay.
No, you don't. Why are Cellebrite working for free? Why are you gifting the Commonwealth his time? Why aren't you at minimum getting his wages refurbished? Was he or wasn't he an official representative of Cellebrite when he sat in the witness chair and said, Cellebrite's product is so bad, you need my free product to interpret Cellebrite.
But the fact that he wasn't paid is interesting to me. Why? Why do you think he did all this? Why do you think Cellebrite did all this without getting paid? I find that to be interesting.
He didn't charge them. He was not there on behalf of Cellebrite, though. He wasn't. He was there as a freelancer. As a freelancer.
Ian Whiffin, digital forensic expert witness, travel, no contract provided. $2,659.88. No contract provided. So they didn't even have a contract with him.
He wasn't paid for his time, or his review, his report. This is crazy.
Sometimes not getting paid says more than getting paid to me for experts.
Makazi G says the money came directly from the Hank Bank.
54 people around the world saw this. Ian Whiffin was not credible. Come on. You're not credible, Ian. All right.
Okay. I mean,
Not anymore.
everyone has an opinion.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Cellebrite's not credible anymore.
Cellebrite had your back 100% through and through on all of this. So I feel like our credibility skyrocketed because of your brain. So thank you. Seriously,
No.
we are trusted.
You
You
don't
are
really
trusted.
think that, you don't really think your credibility skyrocketed. You guys, for those of you who choose to wait on the cesspool of Twitter and engage, go tell Cellebrite how you think that their credibility has skyrocketed, because they're dirty deleting the comments on YouTube, but I don't think they can delete the ones on Twitter, right?
All right. So beyond all these mean tweets and all this ridiculousness and people just being social trolls, in the end, all over the battle of that 2:27 a.m. timestamp in the second trial, Karen Reed actually said she was not having her defense expert return because Ian Whiffin was right.
Oh, we need to hear from her. Okay, so that's what she says. Karen Reed is not having her expert return because Ian Whiffin is right. That's what she says. Okay.
Are we going to hear from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out and in part from Ian Whiffin.
How does that make you feel, Ian, that Karen said your name on the screen and said Ian Whiffin was right?
She didn't say that shit, you dumb idiot.
Okay. First of all, how they interpret what she said as saying Ian Whiffin was right, I will never understand.
Yeah, it means she's trolling you. That's what she's doing. She's trolling you.
And she didn't even pick up the meaning of the coded statement that Karen Reed did make, which is, thanks, Mr. Whiffin, you've proved our point.
Yeah.
I believe the evidence is all out in part because of Ian Whiffin.
What you heard is a very informed defendant saying that we got what we want out of Ian Whiffin.
But he also did say, or did show, that John O'Keefe could have gone in the house. Remember?
She's being like, yeah, Ian Whiffin said that John went in the house.
Now, I didn't go back and rewatch all of Ian Whiffin's testimony, but I know that they liked a lot of what Ian Whiffin said.
And based upon what you said yesterday, the phone could be at the very edge of the top of the circle, correct?
Correct. These circles indicate where John O'Keefe's phone could have been on that morning.
The entire circle of where John O'Keefe's phone was. He could have been anywhere within that circle.
What's important is the phone could be anywhere in the circle. It's not more likely that they're in the middle of the circle.
The Commonwealth's own expert said John O'Keefe could have been inside the house based on this diagram and the circles right in there.
The same probability exists for any part of the circle. That's why this could be misleading.
Including inside the house.
Ian Whiffin said a lot of very helpful things to the defense.
So they agreed with some of what Ian Whiffin testified to, and they used it. They turned him into their own witness.
And we got the evidence that we needed introduced, which is ultimately that Ian Whiffin can't validate what the timestamp was.
Not even necessarily about the Google search, but he testified to a lot of shit. All the phone shit he testified to.
But that's what they meant, is that we turn him into our witness, therefore we don't even have to call our witness. That's usually not a compliment.
And you don't want the defense to be glad a prosecution witness testified, and so glad they don't even feel the need to attack that testimony. That interpretation blew me away.
Like, if another lawyer said to me, I didn't need to cross-examine the witness, the direct was so good for us, I wouldn't be like, oh, thank you for complimenting my direct examination. Because I would not take that as a compliment. Let's see how Ian Whiffin takes it.
So, I mean, it was validation. I was already confident in my answer. I knew I was right with it. I was disappointed that the defense didn't put their expert on the stand to put his opinion across and to have that kind of debate and to evidence their position.
Yeah, that's the point, though, right? They didn't feel like they needed to.
The truth of the matter is they're not bringing Richard Green because they're not really going heavy on the conspiracy theory this time. They're going heavy on there was no collision this time.
They didn't feel like they needed to put their expert on to have the debate because what you said was good for them. That's what they felt like.
And it created what I would consider uncertainty and confusion, which is one of the great hopes for reasonable doubt.
How much you educated all of us along the way has been phenomenal. We're lucky to be on your team. We love the work that you do. Thank you all for tuning in. But Ian, most importantly, thank you. We appreciate you at Cellebrite.
You should, because Ian Whiffin has been nothing like a big win for you guys at Cellebrite.
Wow. Just wow. Somebody should be following the stock price to see if it goes down.
As I said, no financial advice. I don't know anything about money, but this is how Cellebrite have performed over the last day.
I was thinking this morning, how many investigators or witnesses from this case have torpedoed their careers?
Yeah, good point. I mean, the wreckage is far and wide.